Good evening, this is Zambia Today. I am your presenter bringing breaking news. We lead with the passing of former President Edgar Lungu at age 68. He died in South Africa, prompting immediate national attention and debate. Family statements confirmed his death and shared a final request. Flags lowered across the country. According to the family, Lungu asked that President Hakainde Hichilema not attend his funeral nor approach his remains. That unusual request has ignited political tensions and public debate. The country watched closely as events unfolded. The government offered condolences and proposed a state funeral befitting a former head of state. Officials emphasized formality and restraint to avoid escalation. But the reaction from the opposition was swift. The Patriotic Front rejected the state funeral proposal, accusing the government of politicizing mourning. They say the family and party must control the proceedings to preserve Lungu's legacy. Citizens took to social media, divided in reaction. A South African court authorized repatriation of the body to Zambia, despite some family objections. The ruling added legal weight to the logistical process of returning him home. Repatriation plans moved forward under court order. Preparations for a public ceremony began amid strong debates over protocol. Rituals of mourning took on political meaning. Who controls the narrative matters deeply. Analysts say Lungu's final wish was a symbolic message, distancing himself from the current administration. By excluding the sitting president, he made a posthumous political statement. State funerals typically aim for unity. This one challenges that norm. Public reaction ranged from sorrow to anger and disbelief. Online debate intensified with hashtags and heated commentary. Meanwhile, life in towns and cities carries on. The episode may affect how future transitions and reconciliation are handled in Zambia. Trust between parties appears fragile, with each side framing the narrative. Observers urge calm and respect for institutions. International outlets noted the legal and political dimensions of the controversy. The court decision underscored the cross-border legal complexities involved. Plans to return the body proceeded under legal authorization. The PF insisted on framing Lungu's legacy on their terms, resisting perceived co-option. They argued the ceremony should reflect his history and supporters. Grassroots tributes appeared across communities. This moment raises questions about political maturity and national healing. Can leaders navigate this moment without deepening divisions? Citizens and analysts alike watch closely. Voices across the spectrum call for dignity and respect in the proceedings. Funerals are often moments for collective reflection. How Zambia remembers its leaders will shape national memory. Up next, reactions, legal fallout, and what this means for Zambia's politics. We will break down the implications in the next segment. Welcome back. A quick recap of the facts and the fallout. Death, a family directive barring the president, and a court-ordered return of the body. The administration displayed formality, offering state honors while avoiding provocation. Their restraint appears aimed at preventing escalation. But tensions remain high in political circles. The PF framed the funeral as a moment to honor Lungu's record and preserve dignity. They accused the government of opportunism and rejected coordination. Supporters expressed grief and defiance in equal measure. Legal steps in South Africa allowed repatriation, even amid family objections. Cross-border law can complicate deeply personal decisions. The body was prepared to return to Zambia under legal order. Political analysts see several implications for national politics. They point to trust erosion, challenges to reconciliation, and a possible precedent for future exclusions. Historically, funerals have been used to signal unity. This one complicates that role. Across towns, people voiced mixed emotions: grief, pride, suspicion. Social media amplified competing narratives rapidly. Local tributes emphasized personal loss beyond politics. Experts warn this could shape norms around transitions and state rituals. Possible outcomes range from negotiated protocols to further polarization. The public will judge how leaders respond. Amid politics, there is personal grief. Family members have complex positions. Their requests reflect private loss as well as political history. Respecting family wishes is important, but public roles complicate decisions. Media outlets must balance factual reporting with sensitivity to emotional impact, verify facts, provide context, and respect mourning families. Responsible coverage helps calm tensions. Civic leaders call for unity and dignity during the funerary process. Many citizens ask political actors to put dignity first. Shared rituals can help national healing if allowed to remain inclusive. In coming days, watch for formal funeral arrangements, official statements, and any legal updates. Key milestones will shape public reaction and political framing. Citizens will remain engaged and vocal. Diplomatic channels may be quietly engaged to ensure a peaceful process. International attention underscores the importance of orderly state protocol. Logistics are complex but being coordinated. Beyond politics, Zambia mourns a former leader and his family mourn a loved one. Empathy remains central to national healing. Symbols of mourning connect citizens across divides. If you attend events, follow official guidance and respect public order. Authorities will publish routes and protocols, check official channels, use verified sources for accurate updates. In short, respect family wishes where possible, avoid politicizing mourning, and follow legal processes. These choices will help define national memory for years to come. Many hope for a peaceful, respectful path forward. We will continue to follow developments and bring verified updates to you. Subscribe for full coverage and check official sources for details. Our condolences to the family and to all Zambians mourning today. In a development that has sparked public concern and institutional disagreement, Zambia is currently grappling with a diesel shortage that has exposed critical fault lines in the country's energy supply chain. While the government maintains that national reserves are sufficient to meet demand, the Energy Regulation Board, ERB, has reported widespread outages at over 123 filling stations nationwide, raising questions about the efficiency of fuel distribution and the transparency of official communication. Energy Minister Makoto Chikoti stated that Zambia holds approximately 64.8 million liters of diesel, enough to sustain consumption for the next 14 days. He attributed the localized shortages to logistical bottlenecks rather than a systemic supply crisis, emphasizing that the Ministry of Energy, in collaboration with ERB and other stakeholders, is actively working to stabilize the market and normalize fuel availability. However, the ERB's own assessments contradict this narrative, revealing that dozens of stations have completely run dry, with some regions experiencing acute disruptions in transportation and commercial activity. The discrepancy between the government's assurances and ERB's findings has drawn scrutiny from civil society and private sector actors, including Devon Oil Zambia, which has publicly challenged the administration to explain why diesel remains inaccessible, despite reports of over 36 million metric tons of the fuel sitting idle in the Tazama pipeline's Ndola storage tanks. This paradox, abundant reserves coupled with empty pumps, has become emblematic of deeper structural issues within Zambia's energy infrastructure. Analysts suggest that the crisis is not one of scarcity but of distribution, pointing to failures in coordination, contractual obligations, and pipeline access protocols. The shutdown of the Tazama pipeline, reportedly triggered by Indeni Energy's inability to meet its contractual commitments, has further exacerbated the situation, disrupting the flow of fuel from strategic reserves to retail outlets. Minister Chikoti has outlined a series of short and long-term measures aimed at resolving the crisis, including intensified spot checks by ERB, improved coordination with Tazama, and the facilitation of timely imports under the Open Access Framework. This model, introduced earlier in 2025, allows private oil marketing companies, OMCs, to import fuel directly via the pipeline, theoretically enhancing supply chain efficiency and reducing reliance on state intermediaries. Yet the current crisis suggests that implementation has been uneven, with regulatory oversight and logistical execution failing to keep pace with policy ambitions. A nationwide survey conducted by the ministry revealed that out of 650 filling stations, 456 were dispensing both diesel and petrol. 33 were dispensing only diesel, 125 were dispensing only petrol, and 36 had temporarily run out of stock. While these figures may suggest a degree of operational continuity, they also underscore the uneven geographic distribution of fuel and the vulnerability of certain regions to supply shocks. The diesel shortage comes at a time when Zambia is already facing heightened energy demands due to a severe electricity crisis triggered by drought conditions affecting hydroelectric generation. The increased reliance on diesel-powered generators has placed additional pressure on fuel reserves, making efficient distribution all the more critical. In this context, the government's reassurances have done little to quell public anxiety, especially as long queues, transport delays, and economic disruptions continue to mount. Stakeholders are calling for greater transparency, accountability, and strategic foresight in managing the country's energy resources, warning that recurring fuel crises could undermine investor confidence and economic stability. The situation also raises broader questions about Zambia's energy governance, particularly the role of regulatory bodies in ensuring equitable access to essential commodities. While ERB has demonstrated a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths, its capacity to enforce compliance and coordinate with other actors remains constrained by institutional limitations and political dynamics. The government's emphasis on technical solutions such as pipeline optimization and import facilitation must be matched by systemic reforms that address the root causes of distribution failures, including infrastructure deficits, contractual opacity, and regulatory fragmentation. As Zambia navigates this complex landscape, the diesel shortage serves as a stark reminder of the importance of coherent energy policy, robust institutional coordination, and transparent public communication. The coming weeks will be critical in determining whether the measures announced by the Ministry of Energy can restore stability and rebuild public trust. Until then, the gap between official statements and lived realities continues to fuel skepticism, highlighting the urgent need for a more resilient and responsive energy supply system.